Hey, this video is to walk you through the student demographics section of the WASFA. This is going to be the first page that you see. It's going to be your home page. Before you get started on your WASFA, you want to make sure you have all the information that you would need. It's going to make this whole process go a lot faster and easier if you have all the information. That way you're not stopping every few questions to ask your parents for information and then have to wait for their answer and so on. And so if you have a worksheet like this, this is one that I use for my students. I would recommend that you ask an educator at your school who is answering financial aid questions. If they have something similar to this, it's a checklist of all the information that you would need to fill out your WASFA. And so the most important ones are going to be your parents' tax return, as well as your tax return and your ID card. When you sign in, you'll see there's going to be 2 rows here. On yours, underneath it, it should also say 2021-2022 Washington Application for State Financial Aid. That's the one. The second row is the one that you want to be filling out because it's for the year you're going to be in college. So you want to make sure you're selecting the correct application to fill out. Otherwise, you're going to have to refill out more information. So over here, it should have a blue circle. You're going to click on that, and this will take you to your WASFA application. So the first section here under student demographics is personal information. You're going to be putting in your name. So you want to make sure that the name that you're entering here matches exactly how it shows up on your ID card, whichever one that you're using. And I know for some students, they're like, oh, I know what my name is. But I have had a number of students who have hyphens in their name and they didn't know they had a hyphen in their ID card, who have been using one last name and it turns out they have 2 last names on their ID card, or they've been using 2 last names and they only have 1 last name on their ID card. So you want to make sure your name matches exactly as it shows up on your ID card. The next section, date of birth, and then hit save and continue. So continuing on, it's going to ask your driver's license information. If you have a driver's license, then you can enter that information here. If you do not have a driver's license, then you can just select no license. And then next, it's going to ask for your Social Security, DACA, or ITIN number. If you don't have one of these 3, then you can just leave it blank too. But if you're not sure if you have one or not, then I would ask your parents about it. Only leave it blank if you know for sure you do not have one of these 3 numbers. And then hit save and continue. The next, you're going to enter your address and then your contact information. And you want to make sure you're using your personal email address. Do not use your school address. You're going to lose access when you graduate from high school. And so you want to make sure you're using your personal email address. And then hit save and continue. And then next, it's going to be asking for students' family information. For most students, you're going to be putting single. That just means that you are not currently married and have not been married before. And then underneath, the next question will ask students' household number of family members. What's kind of confusing about this is that they're not asking for how many people live in your house. Don't include your parents or your siblings or any other relatives who are living with you unless you are financially providing for them more than half of their support and they live with you. Most likely it's going to be 1. And so if you're not sure, ask your educator. They'll ask you questions to kind of see what's the correct answer for you here. And the next question is students' household number in college. So again, it's out of this number that you selected up here in the household number, how many people out of that number is going to be in college. So most likely be 1. And then hit save and continue. Be sure to watch our video for the next section of the WASFA, Washington State information.